It is a dangerous thing to fight a child of God, and still many people walk around with happy faces while hiding bad plants in their hearts. Some of the people who walk against you sit close to you every day acting like they're happy for you. Yet they are secretly putting sand under trees near rivers and at crossroads, saying your name into it to hold your life down. It is no longer the time to cry or keep asking why you keep losing jobs, why your relationships keep ending, or why you have strange sicknesses that no doctor can understand. This is not just bad luck, it is a spiritual fight. There are people who do not want to see you do well, and they have taken your name to witches, to shrines, to sand altars, and to evil meetings. But you do not have to keep suffering in silence. For too long, you have put up with pain, shame, poverty, betrayal, and delay while acting strong. But deep inside, you feel buried in your spirit. They buried your name in the sand, hoping you would never get up again. But now it is your time to send it all back to the one who sent it. If they use sand to hold you down, you will use sand to break free and send every course back to where it started. This is not about getting back at someone. This is spiritual justice. And if you do it the right way for only 3 days, everything they send to you will go back to them much stronger. And the people who work against you will either tell the truth, be shown for who they are, or be destroyed by the very altars they build to hurt you. This is the truth. Your enemies are afraid you will find out, because once you know it, they know their plans are over. Have you ever asked yourself why some fights never finish no matter how much you pray? Is it possible that someone buried you in the spiritual world and your soul has been crying to be free without you knowing? Now you're about to learn about a spiritual tool that has been right in front of you. The sand under your feet turned into a weapon for your freedom, for your success, and for justice. This is your time to get up from the dust and shake off every curse, because once you understand this, you will never be a victim again. Let me show you what to do with sand that will make your enemies tell the truth and be defeated. There is a secret about sand that many believers have overlooked. Yet in the spiritual world, it is one of the strongest things used for both safety and for breaking things. Witches, sorcerers, and spiritual workers know that sand holds the mark of a person, his footprint, his presence, and his movement. Because man was made from the dust of the earth, they use sand to tie up destinies, to slow down progress, and to bury the voices of the people they hurt in the spirit. Every time someone takes sand from where you walked, from your home or from your clothes, and buries it while saying your name, they are not just doing a ceremony, they are making a spiritual prison, using the earth itself to trap your future. What they do not want you to know is that this same sand can be used to turn the evil around. Just as it carries spiritual marks, it can also carry words of freedom, of release, and of justice. When someone with God's authority speaks to it, there is the reason why Jesus once wrote on the ground and why prophets knelt down to pray on the earth. It was not only a picture, it was spiritual power connected to the parts of creation. Sand answers to a voice, to breath, and to purpose. When you pick up sand and talk to it with faith, you are starting a year, the system of God's judgment that is already built into the earth. What witches do in the dark, you can break in the light. What they buried can be dug up. What they close can be broken open. You must understand that the sand they use to hold you is not stronger than the power inside you to tell it to let you go. This is why many people start feeling dizzy, sick, or mixed up when they step on sand that has been cursed or used for rituals without knowing. The energy of bondage stays in the soil until someone stands up with authority to break it. That is why this practice is not for show. It is about taking control. You are not begging the sand to walk. You are telling it to line up with God's justice and to refuse every evil word spoken over it. If you have been dreaming of walking through dust, being buried, losing your shoes in muddy places, or being pulled under the ground, these are signs that your future has been caught in the world of sand. And yet, you can take it back. The moment you gather a little bit of clean sand with the plan to break free, you have already started a spiritual fight, because every little bit of sand on earth can become a witness, a record, or a men's weapon based on how it is used. And when you start it with God's command, you set in motion a wave of judgment that no altar, shrine, or spell can stop. Many people are trapped because they never speak to creation. They fast and pray, but they never use the physical things that were used to trap them. And yet creation is waiting for you to command it. When you speak to sand, you are not speaking to death. You are speaking to the first pieces of life, and it will listen. That is why you must take this teaching seriously. If your enemies had the courage to bury your name and curse for your family using soil, then you must have the courage to dig it out and send it back. Because when sand hears the voice of God through your voice, it will rise up against the wicked and swallow their plans. It will turn their attacks around and become a flood of shame against them. And the same evil way they buried your name is the same way they will be buried by their own evil. When you stand to speak over sand with knowledge and God's support, your voice becomes judgment, your words become fire, and your enemies will start to confess without knowing why. That is how powerful this is. But you must learn how to do it for 3 days, not without a plan, not in fear, but with courage and God's exact direction. Because when you use sand under God's command, even hell will shake. The practice must start on the day your spirit is most teared up. When you feel you have had enough, when you are ready to break out of every chain that has been holding you down, on the first day, wake up early before the sun comes up. Wash your face and hands with clean water while saying that you are cleaning yourself from every connection to evil agreements. Go outside with no shoes on if you can touch the earth, and take a handful of clean dry sand and put it in a small bowl or container. Hold it in your hand and start to speak to it. You must say, "Every curse buried in the ground with my name, every evil altar raised against me using sand, today I reverse your assignment. As I return this sand to the earth, let every evil go back to the sender." Speak with courage. Name the things you have suffered: poverty, betrayal, delay, sickness, and command every buried word to break by fire. Then walk to a tree, a riverbank, or a quiet place outside and pour the sand back on the ground while facing the east. Do not look back. Leave it there and walk away without speaking. On the second day, do the same thing, but now say that the sand will start to confuse every watching spirit, every evil watcher, and every familiar spirit tied to your life. Say, "As I release this sand, I scatter their meetings. I blind their eyes and I dry up their altars. Wherever they buried my name, may their hands catch fire." As you speak, shake the sand in your hand a little as a sign of shaking of bondage. You must not do this in fear. That your voice must carry the authority of someone who knows the kingdom of darkness is shaking. Again, go to a different place outside and let the sand go while speaking judgment out loud. On the third day, the practice becomes the strongest. On this day, you will get up early, put oil on your forehead and your feet, and speak over the sand one last time. But this time, call for God's justice. Say, "As I return this sand to the ground, let every hidden enemy be seen. Let their secrets come out, and let every spiritual coffin they made for me become their own. I buried their wickedness under this earth and seal it with fire." This is the day when many people start to see things happen. Sudden dreams of snakes dying, old friends telling the truth, or people getting sick and asking for mercy. After letting the last bit of sand go back home quietly and put oil on your doorway. Do not gossip or talk too much that day. Stay in a place of worship and quiet. This practice is not witchcraft. It is a spiritual turning around of evil plans using one of God's first creations. The earth was not made for you to be buried in the spirit, but to carry your blessing. When you finish the 3 days, thank God for showing your enemies, for lifting your name from the dust, and for turning the enemy's weapon back to their own camp. Do not go looking for results. They will come by themselves. Just as the enemies send trouble to you quietly, their defeat will come loudly. Some will call you crying. Others will dream of you chasing them, and some will even start to avoid you because they now fear what you carry. This is how the sand works. Quietly, powerfully, and directly, you have taken what was meant for your destruction and used it for your freedom. This practice will change your spiritual weather forever. And once you have done it with understanding and faith, you will never go back to who you were. You will walk with courage, knowing that every bit of sand under your feet now carries your authority. You will walk with confidence, knowing that God gave you power over creation and that your enemies can no longer hide in the dark while bearing your future, because now you know how to send it all back to the sender. After finishing the sand practice for 3 days, things begin to change in the spiritual world with force and clarity. You may start to have dreams where the people who have been behind your problems suddenly look confused, are shown for who they are, or are asking for mercy. Some people say they see snakes cut into pieces, witches telling the truth in public, or strange birds falling dead outside their houses. These are not just accidents. There are signs that the sand has started its proper job of judgment. The most surprising part is when someone who seemed nice suddenly stays away from you, starts to act scared, or even says things they never meant to say. Their tongues become loose and their secrets start to chase them. Some people have told how enemies who once stood strong against them began to get sick in a strange way, lose their own protection, or be troubled by the very spirits they sent. Because when you send back what they buried, the spirits that were sent to trouble you turn around and start troubling the sender. You might start getting unexpected apologies, strange messages, or direct fights, as those who once walked in the shadows can no longer hide. Their cover has been taken off, and they know it. Some will cry in your dreams, asking you to forgive them.